Like, when should you be resilient? Honestly, the whole time.
When I walk in the door, the first thing you see is I'm Black.
Everybody in my class already had a background in like something tech related.
You need to learn the art of code switching.
Shout out to tacos though.
I think he asked my name and I told him and he's like, I'm going to call you Paljit.
Beyonce, 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 Beyonce.
And the first thing he said was, yeah, and it's bigger than yours.
Honestly, people say prove them wrong. I don't care to. What
Wow.
did Kevin say? The best plate of jollof rice doesn't beat the mediocre plate of like rice and
Rice
stew.
and stew.
Yeah.
I already.
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
I forgot to hit record.
You're joking.
Sorry, guys.
You're actually. Oh, that's a rookie mistake.
Sorry, guys. We are here today. I am so sorry.
Is he?
I am so sorry.
I have my phone out.
We are here today on the Tapped In podcast with two phenomenal engineers.
Wait.
All right, we are back. I am welcomed here by two phenomenal engineers, Isi and Simbiat Adeyinka. And we are here today to talk about their lives, their experiences as engineers, their careers, things inside and outside of their career, all of these things. So to start off, once again, can you guys please tell me who you are and maybe something somebody wouldn't know about you at first meet or at first glance or anything like that? So Isi, you can go ahead first and then Simbiat.
Okay. Hi, Bahir. I work as a data scientist, but I started off as a chemical engineer, which is, I guess, why I'm here. And something a person wouldn't know about me, a lot of things, maybe that I like music.
What type of music do you like?
Anything, really. I listen to anything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Simbiat?
Hi, my name is Simbiat Danka. Graduated with chemical engineering from Texas Tech, and now I work in industrial automation.
Okay. And something somebody wouldn't know about you?
Oh, I build Legos.
Yeah,
Or
well,
Lego. The
I'll
plural
get
of
you
Lego
guys-
is Lego.
Okay. Oh, the plural of Lego is Lego.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know
A friend
that.
taught me that
You've
one.
been saying Legos this
I
whole
was saying
time.
Legos. I thought it was okay.
You've been waiting to correct me.
I said Legos too, but Lego.
Okay,
I build Lego sets.
So we have a bunch of Lego here. There's an Eiffel Tower here. I'll show you guys a shot of that after this. Yeah. So, as you both said, you studied chemical engineering, right? But you don't directly work in chemical engineering now. Why not? If you made a transition at a point in time, when did it happen? And what made you want to transition from chemical engineering to whatever you do now? So Simbiat and then Isi.
Okay, so when we graduated, COVID was prominent and people didn't know what was going on. Market was terrible. I thought I would go into oil and gas, being from Texas, going to school in Texas and studying chemical engineering. But it was just, job market was terrible. I remember back when I was in a club in high school, an engineering club, we toured Rockwell Automation in Houston, and there were a lot of chemical engineers there. So when I was applying for jobs at the NESB virtual fair, I saw Rockwell was hiring, applied, and I got the job. And that's how I ended up in industrial automation.
Okay, definitely. Interesting. Isi?
Similar. So me and Sim were the same chemical engineering program. So COVID hit when
At the
we were
same
about
school?
Same school, same class, same. Do we have the same tag?
bros.
Yeah, same seat next to each other.
Study buddy, everything. So COVID hit, and senior year job prospects got a little iffy. So I started considering what my plan would be after college. But little backstory, when I started chemi, I didn't have like a goal of, like she said, I wanted to work with oil and gas. I think I maybe saw myself working more with like the cosmetic companies, like Estee Lauder, one of those things. But I didn't have a plan. So when everything happened, I just needed to find a career path that would just pay me a job, pay me like, a job that would pay me like well enough.
Reasonably, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
I started looking into getting my master's, and with COVID, tech became like the thing that everybody was moving to. So I was like, okay, let me get the master's in information systems and see what happens. And yeah, I ended up getting into data science.
Interesting. So you got into data science after the master's?
After the master's.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. So I think both of you are Nigerians in background, right? Do you think that has influenced the way do you think that has influenced your career path in any type of way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so?
I mean, I don't know. We only have three options, you know?
It's crazy because I wrote that down. That's one of the things I wrote down on this.
We only have three options: doctor, engineer, or lawyer.
Doctor, engineer. You guys chose the second option, the engineer option.
No, but
Okay.
I will say, my mother, she's very, as long as it makes sense and you know what you want to be doing. So if I said I wanted to be a history major, you need to be the best history major there is. And you need to get a doctorate. You need to be teaching. You need to be like world renowned. It's just, you can't find something and just do it. You have to be really good at it.
So it's more so. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because if you say doctor, engineer, or lawyer, fine. But if you say something that doesn't make sense to them, you need to be the best at it or do very well at it. My mom was very, do what you want, but make it make sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's more about like kind of mastery, being the best in your field rather than the specific field.
If
it
it's
makes
outside
sense.
the scope
Okay.
of what she wants for you, which is fine. But she just got lucky that I have an engineering mindset.
Interesting.
So I just went
So
that
nobody
way.
forced you to
No
do
one
engineering.
forced me to be an engineer.
Gotcha.
And it's just really funny because every time we would have a hard test or have a hard final, we said nobody told us to be here.
Literally, nobody.
So, but we were there.
Interesting. And you made it through. So I guess
Yeah.
it all worked out, right? Okay, good.
I feel like it's kind of similar for me too. Like, no, my parents weren't really like, oh, you have to do this. But like when I say we only had three options, I feel like it's just implied. You know, even if your parents aren't saying you must do this, just in our community and
The feel,
what you
yeah.
see what people around you are doing, you know. So, and I was good at math and chemistry, so it wasn't a hard choice for me. But I can imagine for someone else who's not very like math or science inclined,
right?
yeah, it
makes
might
sense.
be.
Makes
yeah.
sense. Okay. I wanted to talk about. So I think we actually went to lunch like a month ago, right? And something came up, and it was something along the lines of you have to take independence for yourself as a Nigerian child. What do you mean by that? So what does I think? As Nigerians, I think we're kind of under our parents' wings for an extended period of time. A lot of people say you kind of have to take your independence by the horns, otherwise your parents will never give it to you. Do you guys believe that?
I think it's different for Issy because she hasn't been with her parents, like lived with them for a long
okay,
time.
I
you
see.
know? You know, Nigerian parents, they still try to control you from across the ocean, you know? But for me, I've never been the type that always wants to be doing something or just to get out. So it really wasn't like, oh, I need to take it. But you do. You really do. You have to like, you can't really set I don't want to say set boundaries, but you need to set expectations of what's going to happen from now on. So like, for example, after college, I moved back home. I didn't have a job. So I moved back home. And at that time, it was just like, whatever. But then I started my job. I moved out. I moved to Dallas, came back. And in that time period, I really had to take it for myself.
Interesting.
Like, if I wanted to go out, I was going out. If I was going to stay out late, one thing about my mom, she'll call you at 10 p.m. sharp. And as if like that's the time I'm going to hop in my car and come back home. Like, no, I just stayed out later.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, it depends on your parents too. Cause you know, I told you my mom calls me at 10. She's been doing that since I was in high school.
Interesting.
It's when it hits the 2 a.m. and your dad is calling you.
Yeah, you gotta get home.
I gotta rein it in. So there's certain things you just gotta kind of just take it.
Yeah.
Like you really do. You just do what you want and just you're gonna
Hope for the best.
And the thing about Nigerian kids, we don't want to hear the noise, and that's why a lot of the time we would just not do something. It's like, oh, I don't want to hear her mouth.
I get what you mean.
But it's just like you gotta hear it,
Yeah.
and you're gonna hear it
At
You
some
just
point in
gotta-
time, right? Yeah.
It's just like you've been hearing it for so many years.
Yeah.
Do what you want. You're still gonna hear it. Do what you want, like what they want you to do. You're still gonna hear it. So just do what you want, as long as it makes sense and you're not harming
Exactly
yourself.
right.
and
It's not
things
like you're doing
that.
something
Yeah.
unreasonable, right? Yeah.
You're just out having fun. We're young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
the
makes
thing is,
sense.
if you go ask your parents
What they were doing.
they won't come and tell you. But go ask their siblings what
Okay,
they were
okay.
doing. I'm hearing stories about, oh, so and so snuck out, so and so did this, so and so did this, and when we look at my parents, like,
You?
and you people are calling me at 10.
That's crazy.
You know, you just
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
just. You really do have to
Take
take
the bull
it.
by the horns. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Good. Academic struggles. So I mean, I think both of y'all are pretty smart, right? Did you ever
That's
have
what they
any?
saying.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, trust me.
Is it
I was in a
right?
few classes. I was in a few classes with them. So, how did you navigate? Did you ever run into academic difficulty? And if you did,
Yeah.
how did you navigate it?
for me, I actually was not in Issy's class when we first started school because my career plan, I was supposed to be ahead of her when I got there, but I failed a course. I failed intro to chemical processes. Funny enough, it was very hard. So I failed that, pushed me back a whole year because
Oh wow.
you know some classes they only offer it once a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Pushed me back a whole year. But honestly, blessing in disguise. If I hadn't have done that, wouldn't have met Issy, wouldn't have met the rest of my classmates.
Interesting.
Honestly, truly. And engineering, it's you can finish in 4 years. It's unlikely you'll finish in 4. Finish in 5, we thank God. But yeah, that was one class that I failed at. Like I felt like, oh, I need to change my major. But I was just like, let's just keep pushing and see what happens. And it ended up at the finish
Because they
line.
will kick you out of the major, right?
If you failed 3 times.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was my engineering courses. So I failed one engineering course my whole college career. That was the one.
And they were
it was
strict
the
about it.
beginning.
They would actually get you out of there if you failed 3
if I
classes.
missed-
Yeah,
Interesting.
we saw people get kicked out.
That's so crazy.
Gone. Like it got to a certain class. What class was it? Heat transfer? That man, you either get a C or an F.
Oh
There was
wow.
no D.
Oh wow.
And you know, an F was a 0 on your GPA
Yeah.
for that year.
Yeah.
And again, that was one class that was offered
Once a year.
once a year.
Oh,
and
my
you don't
goodness.
take that to what, junior year? So imagine having to derail your whole plan towards the end.
Yeah.
Where I failed, it was the beginning,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, I have to really reevaluate and see
Yeah.
what's going on.
Okay, I see.
But that class, oh my days, me and Issy took that final and started looking for new majors. Because it was either a C or an F.
Gotcha.
Because if you get an F, you have to retake it.
Yeah.
You have to retake it. And now you have to wait a whole nother year.
Because
But it's just
with
like,
a D, you could like keep going, right?
you would still have to retake it, but it's not a 0 on your
Got
GPA.
it. Okay.
A 0 on your GPA is just crazy.
Gotcha.
I'm so sorry. It was so crazy. Luckily,
Yeah,
Tech
that'll
lets
pull you. Yeah.
grade replace. Tech did grade replace. Other schools did averaging.
Oh yeah. If you got an
Yeah.
F, it would just average to like a C. If
And
you got an
like,
A.
if you got an F the
Yeah.
first time and you got an A the second time,
Okay.
it would average out.
Gotcha.
And then they would put those points.
Huh.
Luckily, Tech did a full grade replace, from my
Gotcha.
understanding. So, but I just couldn't be my portion with that. An F, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we were just studying hard. We took that final. We're like, we're going to fail this man's class. But luckily, we didn't. But,
I'm telling you, there's smart people. I'm telling you guys. Yeah.
oh, man. It was like
All nighters, all that.
it
Yeah.
was like nose over the finish line.
I
Gotcha.
felt like that class was probably my lowest grade
It was hard.
in the entire.
It was hard.
Well, did we make C's?
I got a C. Yep. But yeah, we got out. I mean, luckily, I think so many people like failed his class because he was ridiculous that they offered it the next semester.
Oh, wow.
Which was nice, but we didn't know that at the time.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you didn't know in the moment, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense. So you guys didn't have to retake the class? Okay, good. Yes, yeah, of course.
And the
yeah.
thing is, like, heat transfer was a nice class. It was a fun topic.
Yeah.
He just made it so hard. I remember one test, he was like, I wanted y'all to think outside the box. The smartest kid in our class said, why? Like, mind you, I think he got the question right. He was just
Yeah.
like, this is so unfair.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. A lot of engineering courses, I felt like they made them hard for no reason.
It's funny, the heat transfer. I took a different type of heat transfer than
Yeah.
y'all, right? But I remember the professor, the first exam, everybody did really well because he explained the stuff. Everybody got it, right? And then the second exam, I think they told him, yo, this many people can't pass the class. You need to.
Oh,
so he made it
wow.
like super hard. And then I think the people who had time accommodations, they were able to like, because you were able, but he gave us like an unbearable amount of like questions to answer. So like a bunch of people failed. And then the guy told me, yeah, go report me if you have an issue. So yeah. So that's how those things go. So you guys have had not necessarily major change ideas, but career path change ideas. What type of advice would you give to somebody who is considering changing maybe either their major or their career path or whatever? Should they do it? When should they stick to it versus when should they leave? What do you think? So Isi and then Simbiat.
You said when should they stick to their current career
Yes.
path?
When is the time to? If you're considering changing, when should you change? When should you stick through it? When is it time to be resilient? When is it time to change if you want to change? When is it time to say, hey, it's okay to change your major, your career path, whatever?
I don't know. I think the best thing I could say is when the pros outweigh the cons, right? So in my case, I was graduating in like a month or two. I didn't have any full-time job offers. And it was either just wait and be unemployed for a while and keep applying in the middle of a pandemic, or go back to school and pivot like to something else. So in like when I weighed my options, the pros of just taking the chance on something else outweighed the cons in that situation. But everyone's case is different. I think it was a little easier for me too because I hadn't started working as a chemical engineer yet. Like I was just about to get into the workforce. So I didn't have like anything tying me down or any like, oh, I've been at this job for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like I'm not saying it was easy to make that change, but I can imagine how that is a little bit easier than someone who's been working in one career path for a couple years and now you're about to go back to school and flip. And like when you've been out of school for a while, like going back
Yeah,
and
it's daunting,
getting
right?
back into the studying and
Yeah.
that it's like a whole different lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? And you're not making money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just look at your specific situation and try to figure out when the pros outweigh the cons for you. And then when you said like when should you be resilient, honestly, the whole time, like through the entire process, it's going to be hard. When I started my grad program for information systems, everybody in my class already had a background in like something tech related. Like all their bachelors were in computer science or something. So they already knew all the programming languages beforehand
Gotcha.
because you're not, and your master's, no one's teaching you from
Gotcha.
scratch,
Yeah, it's
So
a higher level. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
They expect you to know the basics already. And I didn't because I came from a whole different field. So I spent the entire summer before grad school, like doing courses and certificates myself to like just learn the basics. And then even when school started, I was still like behind everyone else. So I would just have to do extra classes, get extra help. And sometimes I was just like, I don't think this is for me, but I don't know, like I made it through. So just, you have to be resilient through the entire process. It's not going to be
Definitely.
easy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Simbiat?
I think when it just what you're doing at the time just isn't making sense anymore for you. I don't know. Like what Issy is saying is making a lot of sense. Again, she said she had no, like we were fresh out of college. You could
Right,
pivot,
right.
you
Yeah.
know? For me, I will say she said like she looked at if the pros outweigh the cons to go
Yeah.
to school. For me at the time, it would have made sense to go back to school as well. I was in the same situation, no job, no, I hadn't started doing any chemical engineering work. I could have gone back to school, but for me and my brain, I wasn't doing it. You
I
know
got
what I
you.
mean?
Yeah, I get you.
I wasn't doing it. And it didn't make sense for me to like, I didn't want to be in school.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
And
Yeah.
that's very valid.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't want to be in school. So I just had that time. I was working as a receptionist at my brother-in-law's urgent care, and I was just applying for jobs. And it got to a point, it was like, okay, maybe I should go back to school. But again, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I get it. I get
So
it.
it's just like, and I knew if I went back to school, I'm even in the same situation I was back then. I don't know what I would get my master's in, and I would want it to make sense. Like as I'm in my career now, I think about what my master's could be, and it makes more sense than back then.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
Right?
you have a better idea now
Yeah,
of what
of
you
what
kind
I
of want to
want to be
specialize. Yeah,
doing,
makes sense.
you know?
Makes sense.
And it's just, I think when you have this feeling of like it just doesn't make sense. Like I need to change. Like back in school, people were doing engineering
Yeah.
and they were not doing well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
They were not doing well, or they were just not having a good time.
Yeah, they didn't like it. They were
Like you had some people who were just good at math and science, but they were just not having a good time. And they're just like, I need to get out of here. And they got out, you know? And so a lot of our friends,
Yeah, yeah,
they
exactly.
were doing
A
engineering.
lot of it's crazy you say that. Yeah, a lot of our
Yeah.
friends started as engineering. Either they changed their career paths or they changed their major, and now they're pretty good at what they
They're
do. Right?
doing
So,
well.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make sense for them. So they said, I need to get out of here and I need to start doing something I like to do. Because honestly, truly, if you like to do something, you're going to put your all.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you could become like really good at what you're doing. So I think it just has to make sense. Sometimes it's just like, Issy said, if the pros outweigh the cons, that's a very good logical way of thinking about it. And think about it that way, honestly, truly. But
Definitely.
just the way you're feeling too, like if it doesn't make sense for you, figure out a plan
No, makes sense.
and get out if you need to get out.
Yeah, I'm studying for the PMP right now, and it's like I don't remember it being this hard to study. Honestly, like
Yeah.
this is crazy, man. Like,
Because
and I don't know if it's like,
you're out of practice.
yeah, and it's
And
like
honestly, truly, corporate America makes you a little,
a
I don't know.
fuzzy brained, like,
I don't want to say dumb.
A little dumb though.
yeah, I
Like-
kind of get what you mean.
Like
Yeah,
it makes you feel like you don't really like. Luckily for our jobs, we had to think logically because I still code and things.
okay.
Yeah, so I still had to think logically. But if I was just there doing the same thing every
Yeah,
day,
it's monotonous. Yeah.
your brain just.
Yeah.
So corporate America can really just make you feel like you're not using your brain
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah,
So
it's good to stay
just-
active, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any certs?
No, not yet.
No.
No.
Do you plan to get any? It's not really relevant for your fields necessarily.
I have to get certified like on certain things at my job.
Gotcha.
Like within the company.
Yeah.
To be credible. So yeah, but that's years of training down the line, like a full year of training, taking courses, things like that. But none of like the general certificates.
Makes sense. Makes
Not
sense.
yet, anyway.
Yeah,
I haven't
no.
needed to.
No, I mean, it makes sense. If you don't need it, why do it, right? Yeah. Okay. So, as I said, and I think maybe it's apparent to some people, I don't know, you are two black women in the work environment, right? Do you think that impacts the way people interact with you, the way people treat you? Do you think that you have to comport yourself a certain type of way because you're black women in the workplace? What do you think? I don't remember who went first last time. Isi and Simbiat.
Like yes and no. Like just generally speaking, as a black person, you have to move a certain way, you know, in anywhere, like workplace, the grocery store, in traffic, you know. But then in my personal experience, I will say that I don't think I've experienced too many microaggressions at my
Interesting.
job. Yeah. So I haven't had a lot of personal experiences where I felt like someone has treated me, at least none that I've noticed, like just straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that I don't know if it's still the case now, but as of last year, I was the only black woman in my entire, like, how do I explain it? My rotational program at work.
Interesting.
Because it's like a rotational program of data scientists. So we have like a yearly conference where we meet up. And last year, I think I told Sim, I looked around the room, like I took a good look around the room. I was like, oh my goodness, like there's nobody else here. Like
Were there other black people? Or
there were two other black people. They were black men.
But they were men in STEM,
Yeah.
right? So it's more likely, yeah. that
and
makes
then
sense.
everybody else was like a mix of like white, you know, Asian, like different variations of that. But yeah, only black women. I don't know if maybe when we go this year, I'll take another look and see.
yeah.
So I will say that sometimes it can feel like there's just not enough people to relate to. You know, we had like team dinners, and I was just like, wow, it's not really much that I can talk about, you know.
Yeah.
At all.
So that's the only thing. Like, I think there's just not enough of us, like, people to relate to. Like, I can't even, like, there's jokes that I can't make. You know what I mean?
Or jokes they make and it's not funny.
It's
And
like,
it's
yeah,
not
you gotta
funny to
do that.
me. And like, and then this one is funny, and I know no one means any harm by it, but it's just like my hair is
Yep.
such a
Interesting.
It's so fascinating, you know.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know if it's because I'm ginger or because it's weave, but like even like just it being a compliment, like you're not complimenting the next girl's hair.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just your hair is just so. I don't know why it stands out more. Your hair is so cute. How did you get this color?
Oh,
The same way
and-
someone else
oh,
would get that color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what do you mean? How did I get this color?
Interesting.
So stuff like that. But again, I know that it's the comments are not being made from a place of like I want to make
Yeah,
her feel
malicious
uncomfortable.
intent.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's just they don't know. Maybe they don't interact with enough of us. So seeing me and seeing my hair or just seeing the way that I look and dress is just different to them. So
I like the hair. Simbiat, you experience the same type of situations?
So for me, it's a bit different. So my last role, I had to be on the plant floor.
Oh, yikes. Yeah.
So you can see how that goes.
Yeah.
First of all, being a woman on the plant floor,
I can
very
imagine.
interesting. Now I'm a black woman on the plant
Yeah.
floor, even more interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm on a plant floor in Texas.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's even more interesting. So you walk in and you already know they've have this prejudgment of you. And also at the time, I was a entry level engineer. So now not only am I black and on the plant floor, I am now entry level and a black woman on top of it. So they have these preconceived notions of you. And honestly, people say prove them wrong. I don't care to. I'm here to do my job.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like, and I'm entry level. One thing about me is I wait to be told I'm wrong. So, so one thing I do is just like, because you know, you can get hung up on something trying to do it correctly. But honestly, if you have the right teachers around you, you do it. They tell you wrong. You know you're wrong now, and you keep going.
You do it better the next time.
But yeah, you just know they think of you somehow when you walk in, you know?
Yeah. I can relate.
And you
yeah.
just you keep it pushing. Like we'd all have, I will say, so like I was in a leadership development program as well at my first job, and they make you go through all of these trainings and all of these customer interaction things, and just like how to relate to the customer and how to get to know the customer. And with my new role, I had to do that too because I'm more sales focused
Yeah.
now. And it's just like, oh, you build a rapport. You
Yeah.
talk about golf. You talk about their families. You talk about what you guys have going on.
Yeah.
And every single time, I raise my hand up and I say, when I walk in the door, the first thing you see is I'm Black.
Yeah. You say that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I say that in the training courses.
Okay.
Because everyone needs to get a grip.
Yeah.
We cannot all be talking about golf and country music and going to church you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you. I
Like
get you.
every training course, I bring
Yeah.
it up to make everyone in the room aware.
Yeah.
And at my most recent training course, the person leading it was Black.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was a Black man. And he came up to me. Two people came up to me. A white woman came up to me and my instructor came up to me and said, the way you worded, because I asked the question of, okay, first thing you notice about me is that I'm Black and I'm a woman. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. So how do I go about building a rapport the same way everyone in this room has said they would build a rapport? And he answered my question. He said, walk in and be you, which is fair. And then when we come back, when we were just doing our thing, or at the end of the course, a white lady comes up to me and she said, I really loved your question because I was sitting at the back of the room and you could see everyone's face because I was the only Black woman in that room.
Yeah.
Only Black woman in that room. And the instructor was just like, I really loved your question because he was standing at the front and he looked at
You could
everyone's
see everybody.
faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it really makes people wake up. You can't,
Yeah.
it's different from me and you when it comes to sales. You're a white man going to make a sale. You're probably not going to have to work as hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Black woman making a sale. I have to come in here and prove myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Several times over. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't think people don't get like the phrase of like, you have to work twice as hard to get half of what they have.
Literally.
I don't think people really understand it until you're in it. And it's just so, I don't experience as many microaggressions because when I first started, I was working with people closer to my age. So
Okay.
yeah, with the leadership development program, my first 6 months was complete people straight out of college. I had to move to Ohio, do all that. So I didn't really experience that much. It wasn't until I got to my actual team that I was on the plant floor. You have people making jokes, doing all this, you know, all the boy locker room jokes, blah, blah, blah.
They would say that in front of you?
Yeah, you gotta
My
ignore
goodness.
it. And
Yeah.
Like sometimes they forget you're there.
yeah,
Interesting.
they literally forget you're there. And
You just talk.
I'm here to work.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm here to work. And again, as a Black woman, that's a problem as well. To just be here to work.
Yeah.
Oh, now
yeah.
you're not friendly.
You're not a team player.
You're not happy to be at work, right?
Yeah. I don't want to make jokes with y'all.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make the same jokes. You're not gonna find what I find funny. We don't even have the same Twitter feed.
Yeah.
We don't
I know. It's crazy.
we don't listen to the same music.
Yeah.
We don't watch the same shows.
We couldn't even agree on a restaurant to go eat.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Oftentimes I don't even, yeah, whatever you guys, and I just won't eat if I'm there maybe like, yeah.
So it's just like
Well, shout out to tacos though. Everybody likes tacos.
everybody likes tacos. But yeah, it's different.
I can imagine.
It's different to navigate, but you can navigate it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I remember one time I worked on the plant floor at an old job as well. And I remember one guy, and again, I don't think he meant anything malicious by this, but he says, I think he asked my name and I told him, and he's like, I'm going to call you Paljit.
From by here to Paljit.
Yeah. And it's like, That I'm not even like
Isn't
not
that an Indian name?
exact not that this would be appropriate if it were an Indian, but I'm not even Indian, bro. Where does Paljit come from?
That's
Like
harder than back here.
exact. So I don't know. So I can relate. I
Did
can
he know
relate.
somebody called Paljit
I don't think
before?
so. No, I don't know anybody named Paljit who worked there. But
That's funny.
that's the type of guy he is, right? Like, and I think he was trying to crack a joke or whatever.
I
But
feel
it's
like
like
I'm not gonna lie, I would have laughed a little bit.
I was like,
It's a little funny.
It's too ridiculous not to laugh.
yeah, you get that all the time. Right? Like, I mean, I can't think of any of this off the top of my head, but I'm sure. Yeah, you guys probably get it more than I do, to be honest. But, yeah,
No,
it's
luckily working from home, it kind of like,
what it dampens
because
it.
if I'm not on the customer side, I'm at home.
Yeah.
So it kind of just, it helps you balance.
Gotcha.
Because I'll be on the customer side for like a month, and and then I'll be at home for a month,
Okay.
or I'll be on the customer side for it's a good balance. Working
Yeah,
from
yeah.
home, people don't realize, like people who like to be in office. I don't know if you noticed, but the grown white men love to be in the office.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that have to experience the microaggressions of every day.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, like sexual harassment's a thing in the
I
office.
can imagine. I can
that
imagine.
goes away when we're at home. It doesn't go away,
But you don't have
but
to deal
it
with it as
lessens when
I
you're
get
at
you.
home.
I get you.
So being a black woman at home is not as daunting as being in the office. But I will say again, it goes back to she's not a team player. She's not laughing on the calls. She's not I'm at home. You're not gonna make me force me to laugh at home.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get you.
But again, it's always something when you're a black woman. Like I said, in the office, they can see you fine. On the Zoom call or the Teams calls, you don't talk much.
Yeah.
You're not engaged. Okay.
Yeah. Am
Is
I
my
doing
work,
my
is
job?
my work
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
done?
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, I was gonna add that, like, I think because we work fully remote, I don't think we're an accurate representation of like a black woman's work experience in the office.
like the everyday.
Yeah, because the example I gave you was just like the one time in a year that I happen to be in
Gotcha.
office, but
Yeah.
like 90% of the time I'm working from home. So
Okay. Gotcha. And I think also being young and being in the workplace as well, I'm empathetic to it, right? Because I used to work with a lot of like skilled trades, right? So a lot of them are like 60s, 70s. It's like I was like, what, 23 when I started my job. So it's like this 23-year-old is now my boss, you know? So there's a level of, maybe people wouldn't say that. I try to approach it with a level of humility.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and because I get it, right? It can be kind of threatening, but I mean, you're not here to take anybody's job, right? But I get it, right? And then me being black on top of that, right? It's a different dynamic when a lot of these guys they're not me, right? They don't have the same
Yeah.
demographic. So I get it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. What do we have next? Okay. So there's been a lot of pushback against like DEI as of late, right? How do you feel about this? Do you think that it's something that would affect you anyway? Do you think it's something that people should? Yeah, it is what it is. How should people relate to it? So I guess Simbiat then Isi.
Okay. I might get some pushback on this, but DEI was brought around, and what they did with it was hired white women.
Interesting.
That's what they did with it. I'm so sorry. Like when I was in like corporate meetings and they would talk about the increase in DEI, they would mention women that they've hired. Please break down the demographic of women you've hired. It's white women getting hired. And it's like, as a black woman, I had to be qualified for this job to get hired. Yeah, they might be meeting a quota for women, but I've still had to work, you know? And then to answer your second question, in my job space, the companies I've been at, I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I haven't seen it be a problem. Because on top of it, there's not enough black people in there, in my opinion, anyway.
Interesting.
You know? So it's just like, and I don't know. I don't see it as a problem, but you do have to go kind of like out of your way to meet the black people at work.
Gotcha.
You have to go about the groups. When my first job, I didn't really know about the groups until later, I would say. Like they tell you about them, but it was like, how do I join it? How do I join it?
Gotcha.
But about my new job, because I've been in corporate America, the first thing I asked about when I met people was NSBE and the black professionals at this office.
What is NSBE?
National Society of Black Engineers.
Gotcha.
So I try to be in to get into that when I first got here, because black people make me happy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Black people bring me joy. Being around my people makes me joy. So it's just like, that's the first thing I did when I got there. And luckily at companies I've been at, they support those organizations. Like most, like, I mean, y'all know there's like or executive sponsors
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. So it's good for now. I haven't seen anything in like my
Anything too
area.
ridiculous? Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like, yeah, we're pushing back on it and people are getting fired
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of blah, blah, blah. But I will say DI really benefited white women when it first was just
Gotcha.
like brought out, I guess.
You see?
Honestly, I don't have a strong opinion on the DEI topic because I feel like I don't know enough. So the way I understand it is if you go to a job interview, right, and you do well, is it a situation of there's another, let's say a white person who also had the interview at the same time, and now it's down to both of you? And they get picked because they're white. Like, this is just one example. Like, DEI, I feel like is so broad, and
Yeah, yeah, I get
I
you.
don't really understand like the complexities of it, so I don't have a strong opinion on it. But personal experience, I don't think that I don't want to take this lightly. I don't think that DEI has either benefited me or like taking something away from me. I just because I've only been at one company, and the way that I got that job was from like making a personal connection.
Gotcha.
Right? And then I did the interview process and like did an internship and then got called back full time. Right? So I didn't have a traditional send in an application,
yeah.
do the interview. So I just really can't speak on it. But my take on it is I think that it's very complex, and I think that it's hard to really say that it's this or that if we're not seeing like what it looks like in every situation
yeah.
and in every company and in and people have different circumstances, you know what I mean? So that's my take on it.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'll ask you guys the same question that my coworker. I went golfing with my coworker one time, and he asked me, "Do I think that it's more difficult to climb the corporate ladder as a black man in America?" So, as black women in America, do you think it's more difficult to climb the corporate ladder? Why'd you guys both sigh?
Because I haven't thought about climbing the corporate ladder.
Interesting.
I really haven't.
Huh.
It has to be though.
I think it should. I think
Why?
it just has to be. I think that if we tried, we would see that it was a little harder.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because even like, I actually want to go back to Issy's point of the two candidates and like, is it a matter of, oh, are they the exact same, and then a white person and a black person? You have to remember, people have biases,
Yeah,
that's
like
definitely.
true.
unconscious biases. I will say DI has benefited me because I got my job through Nesby.
Yeah.
Like these companies go out to the Nesby job fairs like, oh, we're gonna hire a black person today.
Interesting. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I get
Like,
you. I get you.
or they go to like SWE, we're gonna hire
Yeah.
a woman today. And then also, it just makes me very angry when I see men at SWE.
Really?
So then the question is, if DEI did not exist, they would go to the conferences and not hire a black person, or
Would they
not
go to
or
those conferences?
Yeah, and not. You're saying they wouldn't go.
Would they? If there's no DEI, and granted, I think because I'm not too knowledgeable about what exactly DEI is, right? I guess if there's no
and
incentive,
how it's implemented in
Right.
different companies.
Yes,
'Cause
exactly, right.
People handle it in different ways.
100%. But let's say that there was no, we don't care about DEI at our company, right?
They would not
Would
be
they
at
go
those
to? Yeah, would they go to? What is SWE, by the way?
Society of Women Engineers.
Okay, well, so would they
Would
go
they,
to?
or would they just hire the most qualified person?
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
There's biases. The person you could be more qualified than someone. They liked him better. He's a white man. He
Yeah, you relate
to me
to them more. Yeah,
He doesn't
I
get the
you.
job done better than you. I liked him more because he looks like me.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, when I get interviewed by
The mic sounds very good like that. Yeah.
oh, sorry. When I get interviewed by white men, white women, just if it's not a diverse
Panel of interviewers.
I don't get nervous or anything like that. It's just like, I'm probably not gonna get this job because
interesting.
they simply were just
Really? The thing is, I've never been hired by a black person before.
I've been
Interesting.
hired by
So
Have you been
that's
interviewed by a
job.
black person?
I have.
Interesting.
So like that's why I feel like this is such a again.
There's
I don't think
nuance,
we
yeah.
know enough because I feel
Okay,
like
fair.
I think that I've had. I don't want to say I've had better experiences, but I've had really good experiences with like white interviewers or a variation of interviewers, right? And I've also had bad experiences with them. And then I've had good experiences with black interviewers that didn't amount to anything. So I just And I think that maybe DEI really helps in extreme cases, like how y'all were saying, will these companies even go to the conferences to even give you the chance to talk to them, right? I think that it helps in like even pushing them out the door to put themselves in spaces where now people like us have access to talk to them. On a normal day, we would have had to send an application in, and then it's going to get thrown away when it sees your ethnic name.
Yeah.
And I heard that's a thing. Like I've heard people change
definitely.
their name to like Billy or something.
Definitely.
So
Or
it gets
you go click white on the interview.
like things like that. So I think DEI definitely does help with like just making them more conscious of putting themselves in spaces where people have access to interview and talk to them. But I just feel like when it comes to the hiring process, I don't think that I'm convinced that it plays that big of a role.
Yeah,
But
I get
again,
you.
I don't know.
I think it plays a pretty
Interesting.
decent big role.
Yeah. I guess I don't really know what I can I have a rough feeling of what it is, but I don't really know in depth,
Because I've
honestly.
interviewed people like they'll ask me to interview people for the program I just finished, and it's just like there was somebody I spoke to. I was just like, oh, there was one girl we interviewed, and they said, oh, I thought she was great. I thought she was amazing. I asked her one question, got her answer, and when we were talking about it, I said, do you guys realize she doesn't do anything that requires a team? Like the girl doesn't do any team activities, no like hanging out with people to even just everything she mentioned, she was a loner. No problem. Nothing like wrong with that. But for the rotational program, you have to acclimate to a new team every 6 months.
Right.
Right? When I mentioned that, they were like, oh,
So what did they like about her?
the girl was smart. Everyone can be smart. You're an
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
But then what does DEI have to do with that?
No, but I'm saying like I feel like if she was like her personality also wasn't up there.
Okay.
If she was a black girl, she would have had to show out. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. She would have had to be like, oh, I loved her. Her personality was bubbly, blah, 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 blah. Like, I really feel like it's different. Just because of biases.
No, but I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Like,
what you're saying. I get what you're
again,
saying.
I don't know too much, but I've seen.
Yeah, I get
I've
what you mean.
seen
I get what you
things.
mean.
So it's just, I don't know. But again, for grander scheme, when it comes to like the conferences and things like that, it is on a bigger scale. It makes people go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it makes them put a budget to buy a table at Nesby, at Sweet, at all these other conferences to just go see who's out there. Like
and
hiring
the
process.
demographic of people
Yeah,
at
I don't think
Sui
they're
or Nesby.
doing. I don't know if they're doing, but they're not like, oh, we need a black girl on here. Like they've looked at the thing and said, oh, we need a black girl on here. Because right now on my team, I'm the only black person.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah, person. And I'm the youngest.
How many women are on your team?
I'm the second one.
Oh, so okay. So at least two women.
There's one above
black
me.
person.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
one black person. And for that role, I feel like it wasn't on purpose.
Interesting.
Like my manager just liked me when we interviewed. But it just goes to show, and everyone on that team has like tenure.
Accolade after, or just time. Gotcha.
For the type of role I have, you have to learn a lot. And it takes time.
Yeah.
Why are all the people there that have been there the longest white men?
Gotcha.
I mean, I think with the DEI, I mean, it's over now, right?
Yeah.
So,
is it? I don't. Is
think
it
it's
like?
over.
I mean, no, like when I say over, like it's not required.
Yeah,
Like I think now it's like up to
I
the
think
company.
they're pushing back at least.
right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe a couple years of data will show.
Okay, help us to
Okay, yeah.
determine.
Like 10 years later, what's like what are
was
the
the
stats?
effect?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay,
well,
makes
you know what I
sense.
mean. So
Yeah.
maybe then we actually
We
have
can say something confidently.
we have numbers to compare.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Me, I'll still say it benefited white women more. That's all I'm gonna say.
So they're pushing back against DEI. What advice do you have for younger people who are trying to navigate that scene? So like, I don't know, like obviously there are black women who are still in college or haven't even entered college or maybe non-black, let's even say like Hispanic people, right? Who haven't entered college, for example, or they're in college or they're in the workplace trying to navigate. What advice would you give to them? Simbiat, you're smiling. So let's see.
Because my advice is so bad, but it's necessary.
Okay.
You need to learn the art of code switching.
Interesting. Meaning what?
You have to just adapt to the room you're in. You know what I mean? Like, the way we talk to each other,
Yeah.
we talking TikTok memes and sounds and like clock it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do that in a room.
So you have to be able to adjust.
You have to be able to adjust and adapt. You really do. And I
That's
hate
a life skill though.
yeah, it is a
True,
life
true,
skill,
true.
but when you're going into places like corporate America, you really have to know how to do
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
True.
I'm thinking of my
Like-
friend. One of my friends. She told me like, she said the N word at work loud. Like she just reacted like, like, and then she looked up and she was like, "Oh yeah, like I know."
Everybody was looking at her.
Like, and it's like, yeah, you gotta know a time. Like you cooked yourself at that point in time.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, but could you get in trouble with HR for saying that as a
Probably.
as a black person?
probably
You can.
Are they gonna say, "Oh, you're black, so it's okay"? Probably not.
I feel
right?
like you could get in trouble.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get in
Wow.
trouble.
I feel like you could.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I don't think anything happened to her.
I don't
right? But
think
it's
anything
like,
happened,
and
but I
but it
think-
just doesn't look good, right? Like from a workplace perspective, they're gonna, especially if most of the people in your workplace are not black or you're the only one there.
Yeah.
They're gonna, I don't know, what's going in their head might
Someone's
be like,
gonna say they were uncomfortable.
yeah, So yeah, but I think code switching is good. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, that's really good advice. I don't know if I have anything extra to add. Let me see. You said advice for a young black person, like
Anybody-
trying
yeah,
to get
yeah.
into this field.
Or trying to, not even just this field necessarily. I guess if you have experience in this field, yes, but just in general, navigating, right? Like what have you seen that works, or what would you say that they should
And
what
one
what
is-
method would they go down?
Building connections, like networking, is so useful. Like I was saying that I got my job through like just talking to this lady who was recruiting for my company at Nesby, but she was recruiting for full-time roles and I was looking for internships. And then just from going back and forth, she was like, okay, actually we're going to open up internship things later and I'll keep you in mind, right? And then did that, got the internship, and then, during the internship, just networking with people, building connections. When I got called back full time, the manager that I worked with was actually leaving the company by the time that I was coming back full time. So I was going to work with someone else. But he like sent me an email saying like he was so sad he wouldn't get to work with me full time, and like, just he really enjoyed our conversations the 3 months he got to work with me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that because whenever you get called back for full time, to give you context,
Yeah.
they get feedback from everyone you work with. So it's kind of like
Okay,
a
okay.
scoring process.
Yeah,
Think of
yeah,
it like
yeah.
a dating profile. So you get points from your manager, points from your mentor, points
Yeah.
from your HR rep, points from your other fellow interns,
Yeah.
right? And then they kind of put everything together to see if you get enough points to be a good fit for the company.
Mm.
And like imagine someone who really, really enjoyed working with you put in a good word saying like, I think she's an amazing fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get
As opposed to like, okay, you did your projects, you did everything on time, but you didn't really build a connection with
Gotcha.
him. So he's not feeling motivated to, if someone says, oh, I don't know about her, he's not going to push back
They're not
and be
gonna-
like,
yeah,
you know what I
definitely,
mean? Yeah.
definitely.
So definitely like building connections and networking, I think would be the most useful.
Makes sense. Okay.
Oh, to build off of Issy though, another thing is like get to a point of when someone is talking about you when you're not in the room, like making connections.
Somebody
like
will
that.
come and tell you maybe
No,
or you're
it's
just
just
saying
like
in general.
Issy said like, oh, she like this, I had good conversations with you, blah 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 blah. You need to get to a point of like where you're building connections where this person's talking good about you.
When you're not there,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think it's just really important because you don't know what goes around the office and
Interesting.
things like that. Because I remember there was an incident. It wasn't an incident. It was just a moment. And after it happened, I'm now hearing from my manager's manager, oh, I heard you did this today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk.
Yeah. People talk. So it's just like, I don't know, work hard, try your best, and make sure. Also, another thing, advocate for yourself
Interesting.
Yeah.
as much as possible. In my rotational program, I was quiet at first, and then I got to my third, fourth rotation, and I was done being quiet. And I was just like, don't want to be doing this, don't want to be doing that. This is what's going on. Don't like it. And that was my feedback towards the end of the year. After my presentation, manager got up and said, I've loved the way you've advocated for yourself over the
Oh
years.
wow. Yeah.
Granted, he was a black manager,
Yeah.
so it's just
But it helps, right?
it helps. It helps a lot. But yeah, work hard, try your best, code switch, build connections.
Definitely. Okay. Makes
Art,
sense.
just
Oh, definitely.
The
Definitely.
basics.
No, it makes a lot of
basic
sense.
things.
In terms of like dating, right? Do you think that men, because you guys are both what I hear from women at times is like, okay, the more you accomplish as a woman, the less serious, not seriously, but kind of almost men can feel intimidated or threatened by you. Do you think that that's true? Do you think that men kind of treat you guys a certain way? Because do you think that there's maybe men competing with you, men
Competing for sure.
Competing for
in
sure.
what sense?
In every sense, I'm not gonna lie. Like, just obviously, you know, they'll do it in a very subtle way. I think your camera went off.
Yeah, that one.
Hey, I just wanted to tap in really quick and say thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all of that so we can continue to pop up in your feed. Additionally, if there's any topic you'd like to see discussed on the show or anybody you'd like to see on the show, please do go ahead and leave that feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in again. It really means a lot. And now let's get back to the show. Bye.
So we were talking about, do you feel as though your interaction with men, right, changes? And you were saying that you feel that men try to be in competition with you at times. And in what aspect?
Like, just, you know, it's very subtle, like little things. Like, okay, I can give like a specific example.
Yeah, yes, please.
A guy that I was talking to, like, you know, when someone's furnishing their place, because I like interior design is like a hobby of mine. So aside just like girls getting asked about interior like advice, I think I get asked a little bit more because it's something that I enjoy doing. And so like he wanted or needed a mirror, and I said, and he liked mine, like a big living room mirror. And so I was like, okay, like I can help you find something similar. He eventually found something himself, and I just asked, like checked in, like, oh, did you ever find a mirror you liked? And guys, I kid you not, like like I just asked, like, did you find a mirror you liked? And the first thing he said was, yeah, and it's bigger than yours. Yeah. Like I was so taken, like it took me a couple seconds to reply because, and I like he didn't even realize that he did it, right? So
Wait, was this in person?
yeah, we were like
you
sitting.
know, it's not even like it was just saying.
Yeah, it
you
wasn't
could tell the
it
vibe.
wasn't a text message where like I had to like decipher the tone. It was literally he said it. Like as soon as I said, "Oh, did you ever find a mirror?" Yeah, and it's bigger than yours. Like so my thing, I start thinking later, like, so was the criteria for your mirror was that it had to be bigger than mine? But anyways, like in the moment when he said it, like the first thing I said was like, damn, like was it a competition of whose mirror? And then he immediately like backtracked. He was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And you know, like obviously made a joke out of it, and we moved away from it. But I think that you need to pay attention to the things that people say when they're joking or when they're not thinking too hard about what they're saying, because it gives you insight into how they really feel or what it is they think. Because if you're so pressed about like the size of your mirror compared to mine, it's like, what else are you like worried about, like compared to the things that I have that you may or may not have? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's just one example, but it's happened a lot with different guys that I've dated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Simbiat?
I don't have that problem.
Interesting.
No, but I mean, if you really think about it, you have a lot of men out there that won't be with a woman that makes more than them.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
That's weird. Wouldn't you want that money?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I don't have that problem, but I've seen it. I've seen like men eventually start resenting their wives because they make more. You know, they're not the traditional wife. Because if I'm going to make this much money, I'm working.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, it can, I don't know, because men like to be the provider. Like, you know, society has like, oh, you need to be a provider, blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, a lot of women want a provider. But based on recent statistics, as a black woman, you're most likely going to out earn a black man.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just like, we got to get over it, guys.
Yeah. But that's a very valid point, because I feel like we even ask our guy friends, but just ask any random guy, will you date a girl who makes more than you? And the answer is almost always no.
Interesting.
No. And it's just like, and it's always such a like straight no. They don't even have to think about it. It's like no.
So you guys wouldn't be opposed to like somebody who makes less than you?
It needs to make sense.
Yeah, of course.
If they make less, it has to be like.
The only reason that I feel like I would be opposed to it is because of my experience with when, like the example I just gave. I just think that there's a lot of, like, there's just now too much that I have to deal with in terms of trying to make you feel comfortable or not okay, so like when I asked my friend this question, was like, would you date a girl who makes more than you? And his immediate answer was no, because she's gonna get disrespectful and she's gonna do this and that. And I was just like, man, like, is she being disrespectful, or are you just reading too much into everything she says? Because now you have this complex about her making more money. And I feel like women who date guys that make less than them, it might not necessarily be a personal problem for them, but they have to do a lot of compensating
Gotcha.
to make them feel like,
You don't want to step on their toes.
yeah, like I'm not
Oh,
treating
yeah.
you any less than because
Yeah.
you make less money. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's just too complicated. Like, let's just do things the traditional way.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's easy.
Interesting.
It's honestly
Like it's
that way.
easier.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I honestly personally don't care. Honestly, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't mind as long as I can like keep my lifestyle. Like keep up.
That's valid,
I grew
right?
up a certain way. I'm gonna be that comfortable or more.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah. So it needs to
Makes sense.
stay
Makes
that
sense.
way.
Yeah.
If you want to have children, right? So I know a lot of men talk about like, you know, when she has kids, she has to be in the house, right? Taking care of the kids.
Oh. Who said that?
I mean, this is a common notion. This is a common
Really?
notion. Yeah, 100%.
Never heard
Stay
that
away
one.
from me with that thought.
He even pointed back to the house.
She has to be in the house. She has to be in the house. She has to be in the house. So do you feel like at a point in time you would have to juggle your career and kids? Do you ever see that being something that would like, because what I think a lot of women go through, right, is maybe they have kids and then they can't climb the career ladder anymore, right? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they get looked at because they have kids. Oh, you can't put as much time in the work. We're not going to consider you for this type of promotion. Has that ever crossed your mind? Do you ever see yourself having to step away from work because you have kids potentially or anything like that?
It's never crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
I have a working mother. I will say that. My
And
mother,
she's always been a working mother.
she's a doctor. She's a working mother. Like, I've never seen, it was probably harder for, she has 3 kids. So it's like, it's a lot, but I've always seen my mother working. So it's never crossed my mind to, when I have a kid, I will not be working. I've always thought I'm going to be working when I have a kid. I just think the most I thought was like, it'll probably be a bit easier for me because I work a 9 to 5 versus her schedule. Even my older sister, she's a doctor. She has 2 kids. I just always think, oh, kids won't stop me. I'll probably have it a bit easier because the kid schedule will likely align with mine.
Yeah.
I never thought of like it will stop me. And it's just always like, kids are an option. I think that's always been like, especially with technology nowadays, I can get older and still have a kid. Like when our parents were younger, it was like, once you hit 35, you're geriatric pregnancy,
Gotcha.
which it technically still is, but it's just like,
We have better technology.
We have better technology. We can freeze our eggs. We can just think about that. We can think about that later,
Gotcha.
you know, as they didn't have that luxury.
Gotcha.
But I never thought kids would ever stop me. Honestly, truly, if I do have kids and my husband makes enough money to support the comfort of living I want to live, and he says, hey, babe, I want to retire you,
You're not opposed to that.
I'm not going to stop you, you know?
Definitely.
But I would still need to be doing something. I think I just like need my brain to be doing
I
something.
get that.
So
Definitely. Okay. How do you feel about the media's portrayal of black women? Do you think it's an accurate representation? Do you think it's fair? Do you think that we need other types of representation? What would you like to see in terms of representation? I know it's a lot of questions. Something around that ballpark if you want to answer.
I think that's a loaded question
Okay.
because media perceives black women in many ways. You know, look at the statue they just put up in New York and they're like, oh, it wasn't in New York. I don't know. Plus size black woman, jeans, t-shirt. Everyone's saying she's dark skinned. Fair, whatever. Her hair is whatever her hair is. I haven't looked at the
I
statue
actually haven't
too
seen
deep.
it. Yeah,
I haven't
seen
looked
it
at
well.
too deep,
Yeah,
but I've seen the commentary.
yeah, same.
And I've seen the
They
commentary.
said it was ugly.
They said she was ugly. They said, oh, this is how they see black women, fat, dark skinned, but what's the issue?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a statue, you know?
Yeah.
Did anyone even ask the artist what's going on
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Why'd they put it up? Like, I don't know why it's put up. I don't know what the significance of it is. They put up something in New York. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And there's commentary. Now Lizzo's in front of it singing.
Interesting.
Yeah, like it's just like, I don't know. It's just media portrays black women in so many different ways. So I don't know what representation you're thinking of. Like, how do we feel about it? And it's just like, sometimes it's nasty, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's just like trauma bound,
Yeah, I get you.
But it's a loaded question, and I just don't have an answer.
I get you. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I understand. Issy.
Yeah, I'm with Sim. I'm with Sim on that one.
No, I think I get you. I get you.
Yeah, like I
That's
don't
fair.
know.
That's fair. You guys went to Japan recently. How was it?
Yeah, so
Fun.
fun.
What made it fun?
A lot of things. The food, matcha, the fashion. I did a lot of shopping.
Yeah,
Like
you
that
like-
was my.
yeah.
I think that was my number one goal. Like I was like, I'm going to Japan to shop.
And did they?
Yeah,
I think I did the least amount of shopping.
Like I came back with a whole extra suitcase
Oh wow.
I did that too.
of new stuff that I bought. So
I mean, I think it's good. When in Japan, right? Like
yeah.
That's good. That's good. Did you guys? So I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews about Japan, right? Some people like it, some people
Really?
don't. Did you think that there was anything racial? Did you encounter anything weird happening because of on account of your race?
There was only one thing.
What happened?
One thing. And granted, everyone in the place was drunk. Karaoke.
Oh.
Yeah, we walk in, and this was after Issy's birthday dinner, so we're all done up. Our makeup's done. We're dressed nicely. We walk into the karaoke place. People are stumbling down the stairs drunk. 2 guys come in. There's 5 girls on the trip. Beyonce, 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 Beyonce. Literally.
Man, that was funny.
We were just like, whoa. Whoa. But like, we didn't really encounter.
Other than that, yeah. No.
Yeah, it was just very funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, Beyonce was crazy.
It was just, he said it like 5
And
times.
he was
Gotcha.
pointing.
He
pointed
pointed.
at us.
So he was talking about you guys.
Yeah, he was talking about us.
Gotcha.
But again, he was drunk, so
Yeah. I got you.
Everyone there was drunk.
Interesting.
But it was fun. People there are so nice.
yeah, really friendly people.
One story I will say is like, Issy has one too.
I do.
Your bracelet. So
Oh, yeah.
I was in heels wearing my dress. I had dropped coins, like, I don't know, 50 yen. I don't know, 10 yen. I dropped them. I heard them drop. I looked at them drop. And it's like here, if you drop a penny,
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel
I
like
don't
picking
care
it
enough to pick
up.
it up.
Right? So I didn't pick it up. We're leaving the room. We're walking out. The waitress is running me down and hands me my 2 coins.
Aw.
You've left your 2 coins. Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know I left it
yeah.
there.
I don't know if it's like cultural. Like there's they're really honest people. Like there's this interesting story I have. So there's 2 things that happened. So I'll tell you about the bracelet one. We went to a store and I think my bracelet fell off my wrist and I had no idea. And like, man, we probably walked past like 8 or 9 stores.
we
We've
wow.
been walking for about 5
Yeah.
minutes. So like we're not like near the store anymore. But apparently the guy saw my bracelet and starts walking down the street hoping to run into us. Like
wow.
it wasn't like, oh, he just ran out and said, hey ma'am, your bracelet. Like he's literally walking down looking in stores like where could they have gone?
Yeah. Oh wow.
And he finds us and he gives me the bracelet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like okay,
Yeah.
like I'm just like, this is so nice. But the other thing that happened that I thought was so interesting was me and my friend went to this store in this part of Japan called Koenji. I hope I'm saying it right, but it's like a big like thrift shopping district. And we walk into this store called under 900 yen, right? I guess, which is their version of like the Dollar Tree or something. Yeah. So we walk in the store and it's just, racks on both sides. So we start shopping, we start picking things up and we're done. Like we're getting ready to pay. When we walked in the store the first time, it was like maybe 2 people in there. And we assumed that one of them was the person who worked there, right? By the time we're done shopping, we're realizing, it's just both of us in here. So I'm saying maybe the guy stepped out. Like, maybe he's outside. We look outside, there's nobody there. So we're just like, who works here?
Yeah.
Come to find out, nobody works there.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the store that you buy stuff and check out yourself.
Oh wow. So there's just trust.
It's just trust. And I was just like, I've never seen this level of trust in any society. So you go to the corner, there's like a screen. You pay because it's under 900 yen, you can just do cash or coins. So there's only 2 prices of items in the store. If it's on a metal hanger, it's going to be 500. If it's on a plastic hanger, it's going to be 900. So that's how you know the price of the item you picked up. So you need to have the honesty to say, this is a 900 yen item, so I'm going to put that amount of money. and then it prints out like a ticket. You split the ticket in half. You put one half in the jar so they know that this is what was sold,
Yeah.
like for inventory,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you keep the other half as your receipt. And then they write a little note there. Hey, if you need a bag, just put like 10 yen in the
Oh,
jar
wow.
and take a bag. I was just like, if this existed in the United States,
Yeah, it wouldn't work, right? Yeah.
excuse me, the store would be empty in 10 minutes. Like, they're gonna run it up.
I just kept thinking like, how do they criminalize theft in this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
country?
To the point that you're not even thinking of stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I never looked it up like
I
to
heard
get
it's
a
super
I-
efficient, the policing system.
Yeah, like I've never looked it up. It's just like,
are
I don't
they
know
like
if it's a level of
do you
trust.
do
or-
you get the death penalty for stealing?
No, no,
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad,
but I mean the culture is like quiet, reserved.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, maybe
yeah.
it's just like I don't know.
yeah, no, that's
But
what's up.
every
That's
time
what's up.
something happened, I would just be like,
And it
wow.
happened in different places. Like it
Yeah.
happened in different cities.
Interesting.
So it wasn't like a one-time
Yeah,
thing. It
yeah,
happened
yeah.
so many
This is
times
something frequent.
that you could tell like this is just the culture here, you know.
That's
So
nice. That's
crazy.
really good. That's really good. Good on the Japanese. I wanted to talk about AI. So, and I don't know how much you guys deal with AI in your industries. How do you see AI? I guess shaping shaping engineering to come. Is it something that we should pay attention to? People coming up, maybe is it something worth looking at a little bit more? What do you think?
I like AI.
Yeah, I was about to
Okay.
say she uses
Why?
it for her.
I think people, like you said, people are scared that AI will take jobs. Maybe, I don't know, but as of right now, I don't think AI can do that. I don't think it has the capabilities to do that just yet. I think AI still very much needs human assistance, and I think that it just makes you so much more efficient. And like I work in a job where I'm coding like 99% of the time. And do you know how much time I save? Like instead of going through Stack Overflow trying to debug why something isn't running, I can just paste my error message in like Chat GPT. And even then, like Chat GPT is not 100% accurate. Like it might tell me possible reasons why my code is doing that, but then I still have to apply my knowledge to be
yeah.
like, okay, based on what my use case is and what they're saying, this is probably what the error is for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes
Like
sense.
it saves me so much time and effort, and like it exposes me to techniques that like I didn't learn, you know, in school, or things that you just pick up from experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know. People say that it makes you lazy. I don't I feel like it makes you more efficient.
Yeah.
I think it's the way certain people are using it. You're using it
Yeah.
for work. I don't use AI as much as I should for my job. Not yet, anyway, because I just started in my role. In my last role, it was encouraged, and now
To use AI was encouraged.
Yeah,
Interesting.
as a tool.
Yeah, yeah.
Like use it. Like now in my job, you know, like because Microsoft has come out with Microsoft Copilot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're telling us use it or we're taking it away from you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're like, figure
that's
out
kind
a
of
way
live.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, figure out a way to use it in your Teams, your Outlook, in your OneNote. Figure it out to make like as a tool, or we're taking it away from you. I think bigger companies are probably using it, seeing it as a tool versus taking away from people, especially engineering companies.
Yeah.
Because it depends how people are using it, really. So I don't know, but people who are using it as their therapists, that's
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
that's.
But I feel like that could be helpful too, because like this is information that it's not telling you anything that's not on Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what AI is doing is it's pulling information from all the range of sources out there. So I feel like you could Google the same thing and get like a similar answer, but you're asking AI and you're still getting, I don't like what I'm trying to say is I think using it in your personal life is not that much different from using it at work.
I mean, but if you're using it to be efficient, yes.
Because when people say like they're using it as a therapist, I don't think they're actually getting diagnosed, right? Like no one's gonna give you medication because AI diagnosed you as having ADHD or having some illness. But I think that literally the same things that you can find in self-help books and like
A WebMD or something.
WebMD, like I feel like it's the same kind of information you're getting from AI, and a lot of people don't have people to talk to, and sometimes it's easier
So it can be helpful.
yeah,
in
like
in that
I feel
aspect.
like it's like a form of journaling.
I get what you mean.
But it's like you're getting like a reply back as opposed to you're sitting down and talking to your friend. Like I think that it's the same concept.
So it can be beneficial in that aspect.
But again, everything can be abused.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a rope can help you. It can harm you.
Because now someone can get delusional to the point where they think everything that ChatGPT tells me about this is fact, and I have this and I have that, and then that can cause like other issues, right? But I think if you're using it responsibly, I think it's very smart to use it for therapy or work or get recipes for your meal prep, just anything in your day-to-day life.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You concur?
Not with the therapy. I think if it's to make your life more efficient, the meal prepping, planning a schedule, figure things out, but I mean, they're therapists. That's essentially taking a job away from somebody. There's a therapist out there. If you don't have health insurance, though, that's a problem.
It gets dicey, right?
Therapy is not
it's not free.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't think that it's even therapy, because I think a lot of people haven't gone to actual therapy, and that's why they say that you're using ChatGPT as your therapist, because the things that a real therapist tells you to do, like ChatGPT cannot. Like I feel like there's a limit to how much it can emulate that, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Makes sense. I get what you mean. What's one piece of advice that you would give to maybe somebody looking up to you, or even to your younger self, right? Let's say your 19-year-old self or your 15-year-old self. What's one piece of advice you would give to yourself?
Man, I don't know. 19, 15.
Probably different stages in life. Let's say 15.
Where was I at 15?
I was in high school. I just
or it doesn't even have to be you. What would you say to a high schooler looking up to you at this point in time? So a high schooler who potentially wants to go into engineering, STEM, or whatever.
Just work hard. Try your best. Really try your best. I feel like my mindset from 15 to now, obviously I'm older, but I've always been focused, kind of.
On the mark.
Yeah, like my dreams or my aspirations are not extreme. Yeah. I've never been an extreme dreamer, you know? Like, people have like big dreams that they're going to have to tackle so many obstacles to get to. I've never been that. I've always known I'm just going to go to work. Even now it's just like your corporate ladder question. I haven't even thought about doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just really try your best so you can say you tried your best.
Definitely.
Because sometimes you can get to a point of like, you can get to a point in life where you feel like things are just not working out for you. But you have to tell yourself, I've at least tried my best.
Yeah. And you can't really blame yourself at that point in time.
You can't blame yourself. Like, it gets to a point sometimes some things are out of your control. And as much as you want to control it, you can't. But the most you can say is like, I've tried my best. Like, I've really, really tried.
Definitely.
And it's just...
Makes sense.
Life, yeah.
You see?
Yeah, that, and don't compare yourself to people. I think that's just a huge one.
And it's hard not to.
It's really hard not to, especially if you grew up in the kind of culture. I feel like in Africa, well, in a lot of African families, like you have, I feel like your mom will be like,
you see your
don't
cousin
you see
there.
your cousin doing this? Don't you see that?
Interesting.
And
your
I think
auntie's son did that.
It's more harmful than you think, because it then like cultivates this like behavior of always looking to the next person to see what they got going on and to see if you're matching up, right? And you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
And like if you ever find yourself in a position where you're not I guess at the same level as the people next to you, then you start to feel inferior and you start to feel depressed. And so, I think it's good to have people to look up to, but really try your hardest not to compare yourself to anyone, because, everyone's journey is different.
Definitely.
And like what looks like success to them right now, you really don't know the steps that they took.
Yeah, you don't really know what
their
somebody,
circumstance. Like you'd never know the full story. You just have the picture you're looking at right now. So yeah, just kind of stay in your own lane and like she said, like make sure you're doing your possible best with the tools that you've been given.
Definitely. Yeah. Makes sense. Do you have any next steps that you're professionally that you're excited about? Do you have anything brewing that you, or even if you want to, I don't know, if you want to shout yourself out or anything, I don't know if you have any plugs you'd like to give or anything. Is there anything you're excited for coming up?
I just started a new job, so I'm excited to like meet my sales marks, because I'm actually doing a job I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to just continue with that.
Definitely.
But shout out, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything that I can share.
Definitely.
But I mean, I started a new role, so I think that's been exciting for me. The past, it's the same company, just a different role, and I'm doing a lot of work with, what would you call it, like weather prediction?
Interesting.
Which I think is very interesting. So yeah, but I can't really say more than that.
Gotcha. No stress. No stress.
NDAs.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, sorry. We're dealing with some big shots here if you didn't know. So I wanted us just to round up. I want to do there's a little game that I have, overrated or underrated, right? So I just say something, you give your
say if
opinion
it's
if it's
overrated.
Trying
overrated,
to
right?
get us caught
And you
up.
can
Like,
no. And you could justify, if you want to explain further why you said whatever, that's cool.
Okay.
So first off, remote work.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Okay.
They making people go back. Let us stay home.
Return.
If my role wasn't like a traveling role, I would be in that office.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said earlier, people don't understand how many problems come with interacting with people every day.
Yeah.
Like, it's underrated. It's so good. It's so good.
man. If
Definitely.
you're not working remote,
God, I'm
Sorry
really,
for you.
I'm not even sorry for you.
like wow.
It's just unfortunate because we figured out it was possible.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that just really
Like we
sucks.
didn't know this was a like when we were
Yeah.
graduating, like
It was nothing like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
even,
your
yeah.
job was remote. Like my
Yeah.
manager said he's been working remote for years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before COVID.
very specific roles had
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like that wasn't even a possibility that existed in
Yeah.
our minds. And now that we know what it's like why would I go back?
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
know
Why are you
I
making
know
us go
people
back?
who say that they prefer.
I prefer it, to be honest,
going
being
in.
on office. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer it. But I mean, there is flexibility if you're working from home, right? To get other things done,
Yeah, I like what I have now. It's like I can decide to go to the office or I have to go to the like customers
Yeah.
and things like that. But I like that I'm not being told I have
Yeah.
to
Have
be
to
here.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because some days like
Just don't want to go.
you
Yeah.
don't want to go and sometimes you're not doing anything.
Yeah, you're just going to work to sit down. Yeah, I get you.
So it's just like I could be at home, a
Yeah.
load of laundry if
Yeah.
I'm needed.
She doesn't mean that.
I don't mean that. You're right. Stop that.
Cut.
always.
Over here talking about laundry.
My fault. It takes me about 3 days.
Okay, next one.
On my lunch break, I go upstairs.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Of course. You thought we were talking about during work hours?
Right
Of course
at noon,
not. Of course
I
not.
go up-
Yeah, of course.
She would never do that.
Of course not.
Constantly at the laptop.
Being the only woman in the room.
Overrated. Wait. Underrated, overrated.
What do these words mean?
Underrated.
So-
because some people like to be the only in the room.
Bingo, right?
I hate it.
So that's what's overrated for you.
It's underrated.
Overrated.
Overrated. Overrated. I have a degree, I promise.
Oh my.
Overrated.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't like to be the only in the room.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
don't like it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's give opportunities to
Yeah.
everyone.
And I like to relate to somebody in the room.
Yeah. Overrated.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Why? Why was that
I like to do it.
Okay.
And I feel like if you can do it.
I don't think we're defining these words properly.
Well,
I don't think I know
no,
what
look,
overrated
it's a totally subjective. You could justify your
You
answer
could
any type of way.
justify-
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
definitely.
go ahead.
Yeah, if I'm thinking about it, oh, do you know what? It could go both ways.
That's why I
Because we're on TikTok and people are always going places, blah, 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 blah. If I was a skeptic, I could be like, it's overrated. You don't need to be going
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
constantly.
Exactly.
But if you're able to travel,
Why not, right?
do it. See the world. Diversity is good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It changes your mindset. You see how other people live. You see where you live. You can clock your privilege.
Definitely.
So yeah, travel.
Underrated.
But underrated if you think like, I don't know. Again, if you're on TikTok and they're telling you travel, and you think, ugh. I think
Then it
traveling
might
is
be.
good.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
I agree.
I think underrated because, like everything she said, traveling is fun. It's nice. You get to see things that you don't see in your hometown or whatever, or where you live. But overrated because the actual process of traveling
It's a lot.
is such a hassle.
Yeah.
Like from like navigating the flight prices to like playing with points and then like TSA
Yeah,
and
yeah.
gosh, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that because there's been this like rush of everyone's wanting to travel and see the world, I think like airlines are taking advantage and inflating like the cost and making things very inconvenient for people. So yeah, under and over for me.
Yeah, middle.
Interesting.
And also, if you're in the United States and you don't have a passport, don't let people make you feel bad for not leaving the country.
Yeah.
Because
Interesting.
the United States is huge.
It's 50 states, right? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
it's
go
a lot
see
to
a
see.
lot.
Yeah.
Right? People are like, because people overseas will be like, people in the United States don't even have a passport. Do you realize like
It's
each
like, come
state is
on, bro.
different?
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get
So
you.
like, don't feel bad if you haven't left the country.
Mm-hmm.
The United States is huge.
Definitely. Learning to code.
Again, what do these words mean?
Dirty.
Because if it weren't for my job, I would have never learned to code anything.
Learning to code, overrated?
Why? From a coder, why is it overrated?
Man. So this is going to sound bad, but I think that if you don't have a natural, what's the word for like when you're naturally good at something and you
Inclination.
pick, like it's a
Oh,
natural inclination, right? For
Knack
coding.
for something.
Yeah. I don't think coding is something that I would ever encourage anyone to just try to learn.
interesting.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, just if you're not picking it up quickly, if you don't enjoy it,
If you're not a logical thinker.
like I don't think
Yeah.
it's because you know how there's things out there that you can tell people like, oh yeah, go try learn to play this instrument.
Yeah.
Like coding is just not one
It's
of those
not
things that
interesting.
yeah, and I don't think it's enjoyable enough to. And I'm saying this as someone who like came into it. Like I told you how I started my master's and I had to do this crash course and teach myself. And I think even till now, I struggle with the basics of just a lot of coding languages because I never had that foundation of someone who was a computer science major. I learned things like backwards. I learned things the easy way, and I don't have the foundation.
Gotcha.
So I still struggle with that. So yeah, coding just overrated. I think you could be in tech and you could be in a lot of jobs and not have to code.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think overrated for depending your age.
What if you're like 60?
60?
Yeah.
Overrated. Don't do that.
I don't think the age matters. Because,
No,
like,
'cause
because
if you're
what
like-
if you're 60 and you never had a chance to be exposed to it, right? And you randomly stumble upon it and you find that, wow, I have a
You
knack
like
for
this.
this and it's coming to me so quick. Like, I don't think the age matters.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, I've seen people who'll be like, I'm taking a SQL course, a Python course, right? And they're struggling. And I'm not saying don't do hard things.
Of course.
But like
yeah.
maybe there's a reason why it's not. You know what I mean? It's a language.
Yeah.
Like
It
it's
is a whole
literally
other
like
language, yeah.
That's
like
true.
how
Definitely.
like there's people who pick up Spanish, French, this just like that. Like coding is a language that you have to learn, and not everybody is good at learning languages.
Interesting.
May I say if you're like 16 and you like computers,
Go for it.
You know? Try it. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. I feel like age does matter. Ageism, but I feel like if you're younger,
Don't listen to her.
try it, you know?
Go for it, uncle.
You, 60 grandpa.
Dang. Oh, we almost there.
60 grandpa is crazy. Oh. Wow.
I think 60.
Do you have 60-year-old people watching this podcast?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll hopefully find out. Just let us know if you're 60 in the comments. Probably not. Getting a mentor. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what we haven't talked about? Just a little segue real quick. Would you guys ever move back to Nigeria?
Move back. I never lived there.
Would you guys ever move to Nigeria?
No.
Next
Why not?
question.
I never lived there.
So, I never lived in where I live right now,
I
right?
visited.
So you don't want to move back and help the bustling nation?
Next question.
Okay,
Next question.
back to overrated, underrated. Getting a mentor.
Overrated.
Under? Oh, you said over?
I said over.
Why overrated?
You can go.
Why underrated?
I think people don't value mentors enough.
Interesting.
I think if you have a really good one, you can get very far.
Interesting.
But one thing I learned, you have to build your what is it called? Board of directors, your personal board of directors.
Interesting. So
You have
multiple
to-
mentors.
You have to build it. And it's just like one thing I learned, somebody told me was like, you can let mentors go. Like
You don't have to stick with the same mentor.
Yeah, you've built this camaraderie, cool, but if they're not helping you as they should, let them go as a mentor. You can have multiple mentors. You can have as many as you want. You can have mentors for specific things. Like me, I like to cook. If I had like a head chef mentor, that'd be great. I'm an engineer also. I have a mentor that helps me with navigating my career.
right.
That's good. But I just don't think people value it as much because it can be hard to get a mentor and
Definitely.
establish them as your mentor. Because it's kind of like awkward to be like, will you be my mentor?
Yeah.
You know, it can be a little awkward, but I think it's helpful and it also has somebody talking about you when you're not there.
Definitely. So somebody might fight for you in the room when you're not there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's just like, I think it's underrated at our age currently. I think because like, again, we're not in the office, we're not interacting with people every day. And it's like, it can feel like you're begging
I get
for
you.
help,
I get
you
you.
know?
Interesting.
But that's why, like, you know, our parents talk to so and so, talk to so and so, talk to so and so,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I don't want to talk to them. But it's how it helps build connections. I think at our age, I think it can be seen. I think it can be underrated.
Definitely. Isi, you said overrated. Why?
I don't know. I several reasons. Personal experience. I haven't really had a mentor, but I think it's because a lot of the things that I've done are things that a lot of people weren't doing before. How do I explain this? Like, I'm not saying people haven't done the things I've done, but at the time that I was doing them, there was no one around me that I could ask. So I feel like I figured out a lot of things for myself.
You were able to do it.
Yeah, like would it have been easier if I had someone to ask? Maybe not, because everyone's path is different. Like, I feel like I've had just such a unique pathway for almost everything in my life, like career, like personal life, everything. So I just haven't found mentors as helpful personally.
Definitely.
But I agree with Sim. Like, I think, like she said, having someone to talk about you, like when you're not there. But you don't have to be a mentor to do that for someone. Like, I feel like anyone that you've had a positive interaction with could do that for you. So I don't
So
know.
networking in general still.
Yeah, I think it's overrated because I think that a lot of things that you could ask a mentor, you could really figure out by yourself.
Definitely.
That's just me.
Definitely. Nigerian jollof.
What about it?
What about it?
Overrated, underrated.
It's there.
It's just okay. It's good.
Wow.
It's in the middle.
It's rice.
As compared to what?
Now, if
Nothing.
you told me I am mache or like,
Wow.
Like, it's not even the best meal
yeah,
that we
I'd rather
have.
have. What did
Wow.
Kevin say? The best plate of jollof rice doesn't beat the mediocre plate of like rice and
rice
stew.
and stew.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. Yeah.
Rice and stew is
Like,
up
it's
there.
just
Like,
I
jollof
don't know
rice is
why
just-
it has all this, like,
The hype around it, right?
yeah.
Okay, which jollof is the best?
We don't know.
We don't know
What
that
you mean you
either.
don't know?
I haven't had them all.
These are not nationalistic. These people are not nationalistic enough for me.
don't
You haven't had them
know.
all. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I had some.
I don't have favorites of things.
No, I don't believe this.
I really don't. Like, it's so hard for me to pick what I like the most in anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had some. I think it was Senegalese.
Weren't they the original?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I've been eating.
Allegedly.
Have
Allegedly.
you had Dakar street food
No.
in Houston?
Hmm.
I've been ordering from them, like, you know, I've been on my Uber Eats journey, and I've ordered from them 3 times in the past maybe month. And the third time I went in there, he was like, "Oh, you again?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He started to recognize you.
I haven't been back. Since
Yeah.
then.
I feel like that's the best point is that when they start to recognize you, they'll have your order ready when they see your name.
You
Like
can't do that.
But I brought it up to say, like, when they serve their jollof rice, they serve it with this like onion like sauce. I know you like onion.
Write the name down
You
for
go
me.
try it. It's so good. Like, with
I
the
might go
rice,
today.
Definitely.
it's so yummy.
Okay, definitely. Moving back to Nigeria.
Next question.
They mean to say underrated, by the way. NYSC.
I've never. These don't apply to me.
No, what is it? Would it be overrated or underrated if you had to say?
I can't speak on it
Because
I don't-
you've never done it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
understand it.
Okay,
I
so
don't-
underrated, essentially. Go do NYSC, go move back to Nigeria. That's what they mean to say. Next question. LinkedIn.
What about it?
Overrated, underrated.
I got my job through LinkedIn.
Interesting. How so?
Recruiter.
Oh,
And I just
wow.
messaged her back. Yeah. You know, sometimes they can lead to nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I
Had a lot
felt
of
like
that, yeah.
I felt like that was happening for a lot of them. Because even with her, I waited a while before even replying. I said, man, let me reply. And from there, it was just a serious recruiter.
Oh wow.
She was an internal recruiter for
Gotcha.
the company
Yeah.
versus a hired out
Random,
recruiter.
yeah.
So I think that helped a lot, but I didn't know that at the time.
Gotcha.
So I still want to say overrated though, because it's turned into social media.
Yeah.
Like people are trying to become LinkedIn stars, and it's like
I still think it's underrated.
You know, follow me on LinkedIn, guys.
Oh my gosh, he's talking to one of them.
I think it's the middle though. It can be very helpful. It depends what you're asking like me about it. If it's to find jobs, underrated. Can be scammy.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Yeah, but
Better than Indeed.
Huh?
At least it's better than Indeed.
You think so? I don't know. Let's not mess up his sponsorships.
Indeed, LinkedIn, whatever. I have no sponsors right now.
ZipRecruiter.
So yeah, ZipRecruiter all I want. Feel free. Okay, that was the last one. Isi, Simbiat, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your insight. Do you want people to follow you on social media?
No.
Don't follow them on social media. No, I won't put their socials up. But
Thank you.
you know, hopefully what they've said has provided some sort of benefit to you. So thank you for watching. If you have any feedback or anything, please leave them in the comments. If you have any opinions about anything that was talked about, please feel free to say them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, do you know how funny that would have been if like we had done all that talking and then the camera caught him saying, "Oh, I didn't press record." You could have put that at the start of your thing, like, "Oh, I didn't press record."
I mean, it's there, to be honest.
Oh, it's there.
It's there.
Sound.
So I still
Oh, you
have
didn't
it.
hit sound on the.
Yeah, no, but I got, that's why I have the mic, so it kind of picked it up, to be honest.
Oh, okay. But
Oh,
there's
so what wasn't recording?
No, by
The
bread.
actual mics weren't recording.
Oh, the bread.